Peace, family. Decoded 2.0 here and back again. I'm just smiling because the day has been a great day, and it's been a little while since I've showed myself, but I just came from a huge situation as far as say my health concern, but it wasn't nothing really detrimental because the Universal Prime Creator was watching out over me and showed me new things and taught me certain lessons. At the same time, me knowing what enemy lurks outside of me, but at the same time knowing that in the end, with me knowing that I don't have that enemies don't exist, and me having that in my consciousness, that means that the enemy cannot prevail, and that I prevail. And so I'll touch more on what happened in future videos, but in this video I want to talk about the secret about Nibiru or Nibirus, new discovery, and also about the fallen kings and queens, the secret behind that, most of the fallen kings. And but first and foremost, I want to say, I want to just say thank you to those that has viewed the previous videos I gave about the symbology of the Caduceus. Great video. I know it's a long video. I know when you combine two of them, it's 1 hour. So I just, the technology I'm using, it actually split the video in half. So I guess that happened for a reason, in order, to bring much more, say, attention to it when it pertains to, just the aspect being shown. And first, yes, let's go right into it about Nibiru. Believe it or not, or know it or not, actually know it or not, I came to find out, and it made more sense to me, was that there's more than one Nibiru in our solar system. And it's not only one, but the one I spoke of before, that's real. That's real. That's the one that's pertaining to what people call, or NASA call, Eris. Okay, but there's other Nibirus out there that have different types of beings on them. Okay, and in most cases, they too have a genetic lineage to all of us on this planet. Okay, and actually many planets are coming into this orbit. NASA's not going to say this. NASA's not going to admit that there's new planets coming into say our space. Because the reason why they're not telling you that and they're admitting it is because they don't know what's going on themselves, and they're fearful of it. But at the same time, you ask yourself, why is that they're discovering all these new planets out of the blue? Because some of these planets are approaching closer to us. And like, based upon the video I did, based upon whether time was linear, you never know that all these things, we may be in a certain time space where we're living the past of the future in a certain way, that this present that we're in, that it may be the past to Sirius. Because keep this in mind that this is the 18th galaxy. Okay, and that wherever Sirius is located, it's the 19th galaxy. Okay, so and after that is the Fucus star constellation. After that, you see what I'm saying, which is the 20th. So in most cases, with the fact that we have the huge surge of divine feminine coming in as well on this planet, will give us a clue of where we stand in comparison to the other star constellations. And now, this is not me overthinking. This is just me. This is just based on my observation. But I came to realize that with these different type of Nibirus, I came to realize that there's a certain Nibiru, particular Nibiru, or Nibirus, that orbit particular planets, as far as Saturn, for example. And also, you never know if there's one orbiting other planets as well, as far as Neptune and Uranus and so forth, that have different type of other beings that exist, okay, that are part of our lineage as well. And I can't ever figure out that the Dragons, they have their own Nibiru as well, but it's not. The thing about it is that this information was given in a way where I felt like that it may have not been somewhat truthful. And the reason why I say that is because first of all, nobody knows. But I do know there's more than one Nibiru, and they're all tied into our lineages. And what came into my mind some time ago is that this, in most cases, when you talk about the fact that it's being a mothership, keep in mind that, like I said in my other video, in the part of the Neogenesis video, is that means that there's different motherships, which means that there's a particular mothership for a particular lineage per type of species on this particular planet, okay? And that's where the truth comes at, okay? For example, there may be a mothership tied to Alpha Draconis, a mothership tied to Sirius, a mothership tied to Andromeda, a mothership tied to many other galaxies in the cosmos that are focused, and their attention is strictly on this planet all the way. And this is what, and those that have been putting us in binders for so long, they're fearful of this only because they now know that the time is up, based upon this, I guess, their disciplinary action coming their way. And also, in most cases, it may be for some of us as well, okay, to keep that in mind. And that the particular Nibiru I spoke about in my Nibiru, the Garden of Teresa video in part 2, that video was pertaining to the whole aspect of the type of energies or the type of existence that we have ancestral-wise in the cosmos. And so, yeah. But one big thing about, the reason why I'm calling this video, say, the Fallen Kings and the Fallen Queens video, is because I can't figure out the truth behind the Matrix movie, okay? And and basically what happened to me this past September, and what happened to me was that I was sleeping one night, and I was in a deep sleep. And what happened was I couldn't wake up from sleep. I couldn't wake up from it, and it was hard to wake up from it. And I woke up around, say, 11 o'clock or something like that, or 11:15, somewhere in there. And all I can remember is that myself doing, and I said this earlier in the past video. I woke up like this, like I just came from, I was doing so much in my sleep, seemed like, or my soul was away from my body for so long that for some reason I was doing so many things, and that the crazy thing was that the incident that happened was that that later on that same night, the evening of that same day, okay, I saw this video where it was this being that I described in my Garden Treasures video part 2, and I'm not sure if that was, it may have been you or me, and they're saying that this event was happening across the whole entire planet, because to end all to expose the GMO warfare and whatnot. But there was an actual being that was a dark being in the sky, right? And there was lightning, GMO lightning coming down upon it. Or you never know if that was from Mother Nature, but I don't think Mother Nature would have intended that. It was just that whatever it was, this being and all the other beings were battling this GMO weather to protect us. That's what it seemed like to me. And that if it was either me or someone else on this planet that's actually a human being, and that basically what happened was that we created our own body in the ether from the darkness, and it became to fruition in this physical reality, then that could have happened. You see what I'm saying? So that may have been from from either from Nibiru, or it may have been us. You never know. So that's a thing to think about. And when I thought about it, I assumed to the fact, okay, if it's me or if it was someone else. I remember someone told me, they told me that I noticed that once this event happened, I noticed that there were videos that I looked at that involve certain people that you usually watch on YouTube, right? That you're inspired by, that enlighten you. And they made certain videos that had something to do with what happened. They didn't talk about it, but the video itself gained just the news about it gained such popularity. So much popularity. And at the same time, it was also news stories about women having issues with themselves feeling like they were pregnant, or they, and so forth. And I had there's something that I want to share with y'all, and you never know, whatever that being was, if it was us or if it was something else. I feel like it was a Saturnarian, and the reason why, and I feel like this is a huge topic. And keep in mind that I'm a Capricorn, but I'm also Aquarius. I'm like mixed between the two, and I'm a cusp. And basically, there was a woman that talked about the Saturnarians, and that they are all male race of beings, and that I came to realize something. They said that Saturn, it has also something to do with the Fucus, the number 13, and the number 13 is frankly basically where all the kings, and I knew this to be the truth, that this is where all the kings, based upon my last videos, this is the realm. The number 13 is the realm of the fallen kings. When you think about it, the fallen kings, and I think the Saturnarians, based upon what I evaluated, that the Saturnarians may be past fallen kings, okay, or also queens, or maybe not. I'm not sure, queens wise, but the fallen kings of the Anunnaki, or also the fallen kings that have reigned here on this planet, and that in most cases the reason why they benefit these beings, they benefit from the energies of from this planet energies. You see what I'm saying? And they're part of one of the reasons why the moon is here, but they're not our enemy though. That's the thing, they're not our enemy. They are in essence the father times. You know what I'm saying? And if you are a Capricorn like myself, okay, there are a halfling like myself, like in both, you would notice that in most cases, no matter what goes on in this matrix, you benefit both from negative energy and positive energy. And I came to realize that no matter what ends up occurring, okay, that I'm always benefiting from certain energies. And the thing about it, you could say if you're a Capricorn, you're instantly the brothers. You're instantly a brother of those beings, and or sister of those beings. Okay, which are the Saturnarians, you see. And so they benefit from, basically Saturn always is known for the aspect of reincarnation on this planet. But it's not a bad thing. I just want you to know right now, it's not a bad thing, but it has to do with a certain level of debt that some of us have to pay. Okay? Or if we don't take care of our own spirit. See what I'm saying? If we don't take care of our own spirit, right, and align ourselves with our soul, our higher selves, what's gonna happen is that when we pass away, if we don't do that, we're gonna be succumb to the recycling of Saturn over and over and over again. And that's basically what's been happening all this time. Okay, on the, around like this whole entire time with us being on this planet. And that's basically the esoteric or the occult truth about this. Okay? And you have to make sure that you vibrate high all the way. And that there's a truth behind the Saturnarians and what I've learned from them. And I know I said from them because I feel like they spoke to me in a certain way, and I feel like they miss what they had. They miss the times of being the kings they were. But the thing about it is that there may be a deeper story behind this. You see what I'm saying? And keep in mind that due to the things that have occurred in the past with fallen kingdoms, as far as Kemet, and you had aspects of there's like been a fight between the masculine essence and the feminine essence, and that in most cases there's a time on this planet where prostitution, okay, was highly sophisticated, and all these things to make the kings, okay, end up falling to when they gave into a certain area of the feminine essence. And that I know I may get in trouble by saying this, but the thing about it is that the reason why they're in the shape they're in is because they act as the hidden wizards or the hidden wizards or the hidden, say, they are called like the quote unquote devil, okay, or devils, because in most cases with our souls, some of our souls that are not awakened or do not know about this, there's certain debt that you end up paying if you don't take care of this vessel. Okay, when it pertains to taking back your power and realizing that you don't really serve them any debt. Okay, and that's really what Saturn does. When you do bad things, okay, under a full moon, unconsciously, you owe debt unto them. You see what I'm saying? You owe debt unto them. And that whatever that their other being was, he was probably trying to protect us from the GMO weather. You see? From the weather from the weather that could potentially have harmed Japan. Cause that's where it happened at. And you talk about the aspect of Superman. See, the aspect of Superman could be in every other form. May not be just in the Saturnarian way, but also maybe in the Draconic way and so forth, and what was explained to me. Okay. And all this. But we saw a taste of Superman that day. So we gotta ask ourselves something. Things that may look as bad or may be considered the devil, or some cases may not be evil, because whatever he was trying to do, he was trying to protect us. And I'm not sure if I'm being confused by it, but I came to realize that once I was elevating my consciousness, I don't know, for some reason when I elevated my consciousness higher and higher and higher during the month of September, these things started to happen, man. Back like just from one level to another, and now I'm in there with a spiritual attack out the blue. But I feel as if that when it comes down to Nibiru and with talking to Saturnarians, I know I'm going everywhere with this information because it's brand new to me, and I came to realize, what if there is a body that is resting on these spaceships, okay? That's us. Literally, that's us on these Nibirus, and we're just resting. Okay, we're just resting. And there's certain beings, there's beings that are watching over these bodies that we have. Who knows that all this time we've been stuck up in this idea about, you know, where do we go, and, you know, after this lifetime. And you never know that there has been a consciousness that was a part of you that was somewhere else outside this planet, that has been revolving around this planet, or even this solar system, in order to be able to heal not only this solar system but the other ones. Who knows? Who knows? So I feel as if that I had this vision in my mind when I got the truth, and I feel as if that when you talk about somebody pulling the plug in this reality and actually knowing the truth and applying the truth, what happens? A part of them, their etheric self shows up. Who knows? Their etheric self shows up out of nowhere, and the truth to start coming to light. And that you never know that on Saturn, there may be, in reference to what I talked about before, that Saturn, that the Nibiru was orbiting Saturn up in 2008. Okay, was that it could mean that Nibiru was also not only trying to elevate our Kundalini for us as well with the Titanic energy, but also, what if they were trying to let us know that we were also, that a part of our consciousness exists there, and that we have to basically default the debt that we paid upon Saturn, right, to gain back our full consciousness, to be able to wake up on Nibiru, or the Nibirus. Who knows? You see what I'm saying? And so I just woke up to the fact that I know for a fact that I came from out there before coming here. I know this for a fact, based upon these truths, and that truth can be also based upon you. Keep in mind that reincarnation may only apply to this Saturn energy that's been ciphered time and time again. You see, and that I think that the Saturnarians, they desire to be free. They truly desire to be free, and from this bondage. And I think that part of this bondage has something to do with the Dragons in a certain way. You know, that they working with them, but at the same time, you know, would you rather spend ions upon ions just ciphering energy, having Saturn cipher energy from this planet, and not allow it to ascend, and that so that you can gain back a level of who you were again. You see what I'm saying? And that, who knows? But then again, at the same time, what if every certain males out here, what if we are those same exact males, and all they doing is plugging themselves in, like in the movie The Matrix, every time we go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? We plugging ourselves in back down here, and then there's a whole nother reality being lived outside of here. You never know what's going on, right? Who knows? And that truth, that this concept of trying to get to heaven, right, or trying to get to heaven through this atmosphere, may be one way part of, maybe one-sided. It may be one-sided. Maybe some people weren't meant to just go through the aspects of this atmosphere as an angel. What if they were meant to go straight skip all that? What if they were already qualified because they had a mission to do down here, and they completed it, and they could just jump through the atmosphere and go back to the etheric realms, the high etheric realms, where there are kingdoms that are there, and that's now being bonded to certain planets. You see what I'm saying? So it's deep information here, and I feel as if that part of me feels as if that that there's a certain path that every single one of us has to go through, and I think that heaven is not just heaven is a state of mind, same as hell. But the thing about it, to me, hell does not exist. I feel as if that heaven, my new consciousness that I came to formulate in my mind is that heaven could be anything that you desire. Anything that came from your visions that's divine, that you accept, that you treasure. You see what I'm saying? And that you never know. There may be a being that's me from Saturn. There may be a being that's me from Uranus. Who knows? Right? Or like you. You know, wherever planet that is there. And that I feel as if that really, that when it comes down to all these planets, I think that's the reason why we must study the Kabbalah to really understand that, and move into the areas of thought and try to figure and look at the hidden secrets to know this, because the ancients knew that there was a certain way for you to skip this state of evolution and get back to where you was meant to go, and so forth. And I feel like the Saturnarians, they're trapped. I feel as if they're trapped, and I think that they've been working their hardest as all males to protect this planet over time, and I really believe in that, you know, and that, you know, and really in most cases, when it comes down to whatever happened in the past, you know, like as far as the kings falling, you know, if they were unrighteous kings, then that's all good and dandy, you know. If they are well, that's not all good and dandy. That's not good, you know. They may have debt upon themselves, but if you were a righteous king at a particular time, and you desire to be free from this spell, then in a certain way, right? Then that would mean that there's a possibility, and that you never know. I may have been a fallen king, you know what I'm saying? You may have been a fallen king, who knows, or a fallen queen, you know, and that's basically what I think that's what's going on, is that I don't think they want to continue to stay this way, but the thing about it, there's a relationship I feel like the Andromedans have with one of these particular Saturnarians, you know, and you never know if that we have to evolve in a certain way for that union to come back to them. You know what I'm saying? It's like the story of Osiris, right? Osiris fell, and you talk about the underworld of Osiris, but what about they may have their own particular underworlds, and they're like, you know what? You done bad upon me when I was reigning as a king, right? And so I'm gonna become the devil and pay you back in the spiritual type of thing. And I think that's how they become the dark wizards. That's where these dark wizards come from. You move into darkness once you have a particular way of loss. You see, it also works as if the aspect of Darth Vader. Darth Vader became Darth Vader when he lost somebody. He lost his mother, right? So in most cases, the Saturnarian men or males may be in this state only because they've lost something. You see, and they have the potential of being the Vader. You see what I'm saying? They are the Vader, and that this Saturn energy is something not to play with, because you never know that when it comes down. That's what's probably been the reason why we haven't been seeing alien invasions like live, because you never know if this energy has been used to protect this planet for ages. Who knows? And I'm just throwing something out there. I'm not saying it's true, but you know, because we always want to blame the devil for everything. You know what I'm saying? But I can't realize that God and the devil is one and the same. Could be one and the same, but based upon this, and that when someone's a king, that when you become a king or queen or whatever, right? You want to bring hell to certain people, right? It's kind of like the story between once again Osiris and Satuk, which is Set. You know, Set was all about freeing those that were in poverty, but he didn't realize that in that case he was jealous over his brother that was reigning. You see what I'm saying? But despite thing about it is this draconic influence that influences this. That's the thing that we're not, you know, there's there's a story behind it. So the God and the devil may be one and the same, but then again, you never know what type of devil you're creating when there's constantly retaliation going on. You see what I'm saying? So I know this is deep. This is a deep dissection of this, and in my mind, it keeps coming in my mind where I feel like that many of us, we're just resting somewhere out in the cosmos, and every time we go to sleep, we go back there, and that our soul finds ways to, our soul, which is that maybe, finds ways to cleanse this body. And the thing about it, like Dr. Bush said, he said this, the body becomes despicably horrible to the soul when the body is not pure. So once the body becomes pure, the soul says, you know what, man, this body is so pure, I'd rather stay here. I don't have to do much work. And guess what? You're gonna get unplugged out there, which may have happened to me or happened to anybody else that saw what they saw, that witnessed or was there or was around the world, okay, when this happened up in Japan and made somewhere else to protect this planet from the GMO weather. Now I'm looking at the weather right now, and the sun has been like amazing. It's been amazing. It's been out, and it has been like, it's been where when this I told you guys what I said a year ago. I said that a year ago that it's gonna start heating up on the planet. And guess what? We're in say November right now, and it's not even cold. I said it was gonna heat up. What'd I say? Right? Which tells you right there is that there's an energy, there's something going on with Saturn, and there's something going on with this planet as well, and there's something going on with the sun in reference to what I'm talking about right now, that the Saturnarians desire to be free. And in order to be free, they have to move into positive energy in order to allow Terrestrials to ascend. Okay? And get back to being with the one they loved prior to them being a Saturnarian. You never know. The truth can go multiple ways. I feel like there's a level of love that needs to be applied to this. And that there's a truth that that's been hidden from us based upon what these stories have said. And that you never know, Inky and Enlil and everybody, you know, it may not just be the fallen kings, it could be all the males that may have or good or bad that are tied that are known as a Saturnarian, and that their queens may be Andromedan and that they miss them. You never know. So that was the gist of this video, and the thing about it is that it's a lot to absorb, but the caduceus does remind us of the number 13, and that this is all from the number 13, and this all has to do with Anunnaki once again, because there were kings that were of the Anunnaki. Some of them were unrighteous, some of them were righteous, and that Anu, for sure, he created the whole entire empire, but he didn't realize that it's things that he did prior to even becoming the ambassador of Sirius. It's things that he did wrong, but he knows that nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, but he thought that everything was going to be just fine, but the things that he did in the past came back to haunt him. Even the Sun-Moon War. And there's an image in my mind, another vision, once again, where I see the devil, right? I see the devil, and I also see this same being that we saw, that I'm talking about, and he's battling the devil, you know, in the Sun-Moon War. That's the thing I think of. It comes to my mind every time, and it's a Saturnarian. It's a Saturnarian, which means that you never know that the fallen kings may also be tied to that. These things only occur over and over again once we find the root of the problem. You see, and that once somebody is jealous and envious and jealous and envious over someone else, right, and not choose to have the empire grow in the righteous manner, many of our civilizations and many of our kingdoms tend to fall. You see what I'm saying? And that's the reason why we don't have that to this day. And I know it for a fact, based upon these truths. So this was basically the key to it, and I feel like that we have to evolve a certain way, okay, in order for things to get back to what they used to be, and based on divinity, you know, everybody being righteous based upon ancient truths, And we can get through that by us knowing this truth and realizing that there's something we have to get back to. But I realize I can't rush myself to get to that point, to the final stage, because I feel like I'm already qualified to get there. I gotta take my time because I feel like I have to lead other people to get there. And usually, when they talk about what you talk about in the WASP, that we have to go through certain levels, so you can spend your time for a long time in a certain place trying to help other angels to ascend. Okay, and so that's the key. I think that's the reason why everything is set up based on that book. You know, and so forth. And I decoded basically why things tend to seem the way they are. You know, so there's another truth based upon this, based upon everything in the atmosphere and relates to Saturn. You see, and there may be more. There's a reason why all we see is darkness. Why is that in movies there's planets being seen? Because there's a certain lack. Black, when you say the word black, right? The B, the 13, lack. That means there's a lack somewhere in where this planet is. There's a lack of something, and that lack had to do with the past kings that were here when it was in higher when this planet was once again in higher dimensions. And I know that's the truth. But I'm not gonna keep you long, and I want to say thank you once again, and yeah. Yeah. Total Flash 2.0. Here, back again. And remember to always live within Caduceus. Peace.